This video is made possible by EA Game Changers. Hey guys, James here today and welcome back to another Sims 4 video. Today we are doing a house build in Get Famous, the brand new expansion pack for The Sims 4. Look, by the way, there's already a car right there teasing us. They've put so many cars in this world. It's actually insane to know the fact that there aren't going to be any in this pack. There's no cars in this pack, except for all the decorative ones and all the ones driving around the town. So this is Mirage Park that we're currently in. I thought I'd just give you a quick little overview of the neighborhood. And it's got an interesting style. Like, I almost think it feels very, I don't know, it seems odd for a Sims neighborhood to be like this detailed, if that makes sense. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I think it's like, it's strange in a good way. I actually really like it. So this was literally the first thing that I did with this pack, was jump into the terrain tools, which, in case you don't know, we can now alter the terrain with raising up, lowering down, flattening, all that kind of stuff. And this whole terrain editing thing is actually something coming for free in a game update before this expansion comes out. So everyone will be able to do this part of it, but there was no way that I could go along to this event and not play around with these tools. So my idea essentially was, I'm building a house for a brand, well, I guess a struggling actor, who is named Samaj, by the way. That's my Sim's name. No relation. Anyway, so I thought, yeah, I'm going to build like this really crappy home, like just like basically a trailer. It's going to be like a trailer home that's stuck above this weird swampy sludge river between two little hills. So it's like sort of suspended over the hills, and it's going to be sitting on top of it. So that was a good way that I could quickly build something with the terrain tools and in the new world and see how we go. So obviously there are no ponds yet, so that's why I'm using the fountain tool. They did say on the terrain live stream, if you watch my sort of recap of that it is something that I would like to add, but there's no confirmation that they will. So we don't know about that. So at this point in time, I was like, why can't I build across this little gap? Because I was trying to do it. And then I realized I had no money. My sim is super poor. I can't even afford a poor, crappy house. So I had to do a little bit of money cheat to get a bit more cash to be able to make it happen. So there has to be... So I've actually... This whole house, if you didn't see what I did, is actually on the second floor. So I built the ground level, and then I built above that, and then I essentially just lowered down the whole house to get it to sit across the terrain like that. And right now, I was like, I was looking up some hotkeys, which, by the way, I don't think I've ever really used the lessons in this game. I don't know if you guys have, but I was asking one of the sim gurus while I was there. I was like, hey, what's the hotkey for this? And they're like, I don't know, but it's in the lessons. I was like, oh, okay. Did not know that was a really useful tool and feature of the game. Anyway, there you go. So in case you didn't know, there's lessons that have hotkeys in them. Yeah, so essentially what I'm using now is a tool where you can set the exact height you want to level the terrain to. So that made it really easy for me to level both sides of this little hill so that the house would sit on it perfectly. So that's what I was trying to use that tool for, was to level it all out, get it to sort of fit properly between the two areas. So yeah, the whole house is on the second level, but I've lowered it down so it looks like it's sort of sitting on top of the terrain there. By the way, right then, I don't know if you saw the cheats I was entering. I was trying to do move objects, but they had mentioned to us that because we're using an early build of the game to play this, so the cheats are a little bit weird. So sometimes they're a bit different than the normal ones. So it's like, this isn't working. I couldn't get it to work, but oh well, it worked in the end. So that roof, by the way, that roof texture, brand new. That's a marble wall texture, which I do not use in this house because, like I said, we're trying to go for a cheap, crappy looking trailer. So I tried to like look up a bunch of new items that I could use, which I guess is something I missed out on a little bit by doing this crappy house build, is because obviously a lot of the crappy items are from, existing game packs and expansions that are already out. But, there was a lot of good stuff still. Oh man. So we got 4 hours to play this game. So we got like 2 hours to record, and then like a 2-hour session. And then we had a break. Then we had another 2-hour session to be able to record whatever we wanted in the game. And it's just not enough. I need more time. I can't wait to actually get this game and play it properly, because there's so many items. I'm like, oh my god, this would be so much fun to play around with. And there's so much I could do with building. Like you can see here, I'm just pulling out items because I was like, oh my god, I can use this in building. So I actually entered the buy debug cheat, so you can see all the hidden objects in the game. I was really hoping that they had cars hidden away, like in buy debug, just like decorative cars, because at the moment everyone always has to use these stupid toy cars that we scale up. But they have all these beautiful models, like just parked on the road. They even have driveways going up to the lot. I was saying this to them while I'm there. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, stop. You're going like 95% of the way there. And we're like, yeah, there's no cars. Like, it's, I'm firmly in the camp of I want cars in The Sims 4. Like, just, it doesn't have to be fancy. I just want to be able to place them, nothing crazy. But anyway, moving on from that. So I'm actually, in case I sound a little bit different, my voice is I'm losing my voice a little bit. But other than that, like just because of my recording setup, if I sound a bit different, I'm actually in the UK at the moment still. I'm in a hotel at the moment just recording this because by the time I'm allowed to post this, I'm actually flying home. I will be on a plane, so I won't be able to, I don't get home to be able to edit. So I was like, okay, I have to take all my recording setup with me and record on the go. So that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So I wanted this to look quite swamp-like down the bottom there. Especially I wanted to make the water seem more natural and not like, that I've just placed it there with a fountain tool. So I was trying to make the edges of it look a bit more natural with all the plants down there. Now, that's actually a brand new door that we have in the game. And I was going to use that for the front door because it's just a kind of a cheap, like, little wooden door. But I realized that the handle of it was, the handle is quite fancy. So it didn't work in the end, and I did actually end up changing that. So I wanted to have the house sort of have a few stilts underneath. But you saw I tried to place some columns, and because the terrain is not a full wall height, the columns sort of poke through the floor. So I ended up using these little chimney object things and sort of just placing them where they fit. And I thought, yeah, that's all right. It's like they've kind of just like shoved a trailer here. Like, I don't even know, how would this trailer have gotten there? Like, it's bridging the gap over this little swamp. Like, why is that there? I don't know why it's there, but it gave me a good excuse to use the terrain tool and just have a little bit of fun with it. So that's exactly what I did. The thing is, I think a lot of people... I've seen a few people saying, oh, what's the point of having, the terrain tool when all the lots are flat? And, oh, by the way, every lot in this world is still flat. I was hoping they would have had even just a gentle sloping lot somewhere in this world. But every single lot here in Del Sol Valley is still flat. But yeah, the point here, like even just like the subtle things like this, I think this still looks pretty good. Like this is not crazy hills. It's nothing out of the ordinary. It's just gentle sort of rolling hills. And we have that little sort of it's a swamp. We have that little swamp sort of down underneath. It's nothing like out of this world crazy, but it's more than we could have done otherwise. Like we couldn't have got something like this with just the current stuff that we have. So I actually used a new flooring in there. I think it's called the Wild West wooden flooring because it looks really crappy, like a good crappy, like it looks like dirty and grungy. And I used the gray one. Like the inside of this trailer is, by the way, don't expect this to look any good. This trailer on the inside, it is like as crap as you can get. Like I was just trying to make it look like here's the thing, I was trying to make it like a starter home, so I really wanted to have crappy furniture. I wanted it to be cheap. It's not super detailed because here's the thing, like I said, we only had 4 hours to play, so I didn't want to spend like 2 hours building this beautiful house and then not really get enough time to play because I also want to play the pack. So it's all just like really cheap, crappy furniture. Not a lot of it is new that there's a lot of new furniture, don't get me wrong, but not a lot of stuff that I've placed in this particular build is new, just given the fact that, like I said, I wanted cheap items. A lot of stuff in Get Famous are like really fancy, opulent stuff. Like there's the golden toilet, there's all that kind of stuff as well. There's like sleeping pods, which you can see there in the catalog. So there's like 4 new beds if you count the 2 sleeping pods. Oh, these are cool. So these sort of open wardrobes that you could create this giant walk-in robe. That's gotta. You know what? I just built a walk-in robe in that mansion. I'm gonna have to go back and change that now to to when Get Famous comes out, to all the brand new items. Oh, I put that giant sort of canvas in the back of the bedroom just because it was new, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put that in there. Maybe someone painted that. Oh, these rugs. So these are brand new rugs as well. I can't remember. There must be like a Western style as well, but they're like really old, sort of dirty rugs. And I was like, these are perfect for layering up and making the place look gross. And apparently, my friend Dr. Gluon, he found, I think in the recolors for one of the other rugs or one of the floor decorations, there's actually like cracks, like decal cracks in the floor. So that's good. We can grungify stuff really well. So these giant things I've just placed are actually sets. So they're like movie sets or TV sets that actors would use in the game. But I use them here on the lot just as a decorative piece because it's like as the story goes, there used to be a mansion here, then it fell down, and now there's not. It's just in ruins. So then there's just like, it's just like this lot that's in ruins, it's in shambles, it's in disrepair, and someone's just put a trailer on here and started living over this swamp. So here are the screenshots for it. But this actually gave me the great idea doing this. And like once I put those ruins in there, I was like, oh my God, we could recreate the pit from Parks and Rec. You know, like where Andy, if you haven't seen Parks and Rec anyway, there's this giant pit next to some houses in a neighborhood similar to this that they haven't filled in. It's just this big empty hole. And then one of the characters starts living down the bottom of the pit in a tent. And I'm like, oh my God. We can actually do that now. Like we could make a pit and have a tent down the bottom and just live in it. So, that's a new plant in the corner there, by the way. Like I said, this build itself is actually nothing fancy, but it's using some of the new features and some of the new stuff, using the terrain tools. So I thought I wanted to show it off to you guys so you can sort of check it out. You can see the new world around as well. That is the little lot. I don't know if I'll have this for the gallery, because it is something that I can't remember if I have the game saved for. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Leave your comments, suggestions, and feedback down below, and have an awesome day.